Yes, Libération reports the number of people out of work hit 2.8 million in December. So if you count all the people who are claiming for one reason or another, some because their hours have been reduced at work, that takes the whole total up to 4.5 million. That's the highest in over 20 years. And the paper says the government policy does have some of the blame here, really. They've been encouraging employers to give existing employees more overtime by making it tax-free instead of hiring new people. And they've also been cutting public sector jobs. So they're responsible. L'Humanité definitely agrees with that analysis as well, the communist paper. They've got jobs massacred as a headline, saying the unemployment's gone up 5.2% in a year. And they also blame the government, saying they need to take a different policy. Instead of having tax holidays for employers who hire new people, they need to take a much more radical approach, that paper's arguing. They say they need some big infrastructure projects. They need to be investing in roads, schools, building. And they also take a look on the inside at some alternative ways of financing industry that have worked out rather better, like factories have decided, where the staff have decided to buy it up themselves and run it as a cooperative.
So economic worries for France and, of course, elsewhere, the euro crisis not far from the front pages as usual then?
No, that OECD warning yesterday that the Eurozone could be facing recession again has, of course, made some front pages, as you might expect. Here it is on La Croix. Facing recession, the Eurozone is pressed into action. The business paper Les Echos is a little bit more positive. They're headlining on the fact that European markets mostly ended on a high yesterday, on some hope that European leaders might be coming up with a way out of this crisis. And the other business paper, La Tribune, their headline today is French people not prepared to lend to France. This is, they think, a good idea would be to get French savers and pension funds to buy French bonds, because French savers have more funds than the government can easily get on international markets. But unfortunately, in a poll they've taken, 2 out of 3 people say they won't be doing that.
They're not up for that, the French. Fair enough. Now, back in the world of French politics, looks like the week has begun badly again for socialist presidential candidate François Hollande.
Yes, François Hollande's big gap is Le Figaro's headline. What they're talking about now isn't the Greens, who were attacking him all of last week. It's the centrist candidate François Bayrou, who announced at the weekend he's standing for the presidency. Le Figaro's editorial says there's no way Hollande can both please the Greens on his left and the centrists on his right. He'll end up pleasing no one.
And, of course, Dominique Strauss-Kahn back in the press.
Yes, this is after an article in the New York Review of Books, which made a huge media fuss at the weekend when it came out with some possibly suspicious details on what exactly happened in the Sofitel on the morning of May the 14th, before Dominique Strauss-Kahn was famously dragged off a plane at JFK Airport. Now, Le Figaro goes over some of these details today, saying that apparently 2 Sofitel employees were seen celebrating, and also Dominique Strauss-Kahn may have thought he was under surveillance. Now, they put those questions to Nafissatou Diallo's lawyer. She, of course, is still filing a civil suit against him in New York, and the lawyer says, well, he doesn't know if Strauss-Kahn was under surveillance or what those employees were celebrating, but even if he was being spied on, that doesn't change whether or not he committed a sexual assault.
And this, of course, is the man who could have been in François Hollande's shoes. OK, thanks very much for that look at the French press, Elena. Coming up after the break, Focus, and today we take a look at